That was good. There's no doubt, you can see it right now as he's going back and forth in the sand, looking in his typical excellent shape, and certainly a sight for sore eyes, especially amongst Giants fans. Another person who's very excited to have Saquon back is undoubtedly Daniel Jones, who would like to have a healthy Saquon for the entire season this year. In 11 games with Barkley in his career, Jones has 23 touchdown passes and is averaging nearly 270 passing yards per game. In 15 games without Saquon, the Giants quarterback has more interceptions than touchdowns. Yikes. All right, so Graz, we'll start with you. What's the timeline on Saquon's return to the football field?
Phil, the Giants have consistently said they're taking it slow this offseason with Saquon Barkley. They're not going to rush him back from his injury just so they can say he was ready in time for training camp, or even for week one if that is what it takes. I think he'll be ready to go by the time the regular season starts, but the Giants are not going to push it. They want him back at full strength when he is back. Now, I hear some things sometimes, and I wonder if they're just trying to sort of lower expectations and maybe sort of have him sneak up on folks. I expect Saquon Barkley to play early in the season and be back at full strength, probably week one, although at this point the Giants would definitely tell you that's not a goal that they have in mind. They just want to do right by him and his body. And
Saquon, of course, now eligible for an extension as well. Booger, we just give you the numbers, but how much, when you watch the tape, does Saquon help Daniel Jones, who's entering a pivotal third year?
First of all, I want to comment on the Instagram video. Have we not learned anything by all these Instagram models with all these videos? And then you might see one of them in person and they don't look anything like, are we still judging athletes on the Instagram? I don't know. That's just me.
Filter on it. It's not a filter.
Listen, all I'm saying is, listen, I am not going to judge anybody by an Instagram workout. RC, you and I are old as dirty, and we can go put a fire Instagram video, but nobody's going to doubt that you and I can get back out there and play again. Now, Phil, let me be professional and ease my way back to your question. Listen, hey, Daniel Jones, what he needs to do, he needs to not turn the football over. I get it. Saquon Barkley coming back, the running game. They got Galladay, you got Slayton, you got Evan Ingram. They got a lot of weapons. What they're trying to do is minimize the excuses for Daniel Jones. His biggest thing, he needs to not turn the football over and show progression in the passing game. If he can do that, then we can properly evaluate Daniel Jones. And I got a feeling that the conversation is going to change. It's not about who's playing running back. It's not about the wide receivers. It's about Daniel Jones taking the next step that all great quarterbacks do. They value the football. They don't turn it over, because when you touch the ball every single play, you cannot give it away at the rate that he's given it away over the last few years. You just can't do it.
Booger, whether he gives it away or not, we can properly evaluate him. Here it goes. If Daniel Jones turns the ball over like he's turned the ball over in his first couple of years in New York, he should no longer be the quarterback of the New York Giants. See? Bam. Easy. He turned it over, and I was still able to properly evaluate him, because that's where Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones is where Sam Darnold was last year for the Jets. We have to figure out if this guy is our quarterback of the future. Can we invest in that fifth-year option, because we know that he will be a part of our team. He will be the leader of our offense. And Daniel Jones hasn't shown me that he can do that. So you know what we say? We'll get Kyle Rudolph. We'll get Kenny Galladay. We'll get Saquon Barkley healthy with filters and different sound effects and different view effects on his Instagram video, so Booger can think that he can still come back and play. We'll get all these things for you, Daniel. Now you got to go play ball. He can be properly evaluated. You know why? Because they have surrounded him with skilled players on the outside, Booger. And so if he comes out and he plays like he's played before, then he is gone. He is gone. Dave Gettleman's gone. Everybody's gone. And you have to start over and start from scratch if you're the New York Giants.
Here's how you change the narrative on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, get you a fire producer, get you an Instagram video, have Peyton Manning in the background, like shooting over your right shoulder. As a matter of fact, RC, you got a production company. Why don't you shoot Daniel Jones a fire video, Peyton Manning in the background, he's throwing the football, and we're going to change the whole narrative before he ever play a game. How about that?
There we go. I like it. We are finding ways
to
make, that's right, making Daniel Jones better through social media and also on the field as well. But back to Saquon Barkley, because Saquon is not the only notable player 25 years or younger returning from an injury this season. Remember, Christian McCaffrey was limited to just 3 games last year. Both an ankle and shoulder injury bothered him. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow had his rookie season cut short with a torn ACL and MCL, plus Nick Bosa. He tore his ACL, not to mention his brother's teammate, Chargers All-Pro safety Derwin James, is coming back from a torn meniscus and has played just 5 games in the last 2 seasons. Booger, as you look at these guys, which do you see making the biggest impact in his return?
Well, I think it's got to be Nick Bosa. You know, we all focus on Aaron Donald. He's the best defensive lineman in football, maybe one of the best in the history that we've ever seen. But from a defensive end standpoint, there's nobody that plays run and pass and that's fundamentally sound at rushing the passer than Nick Bosa. If he comes back and he stays healthy, he will lead the NFL in sacks and most likely be the defensive player of the year.
Listen, Booger went with the rusher, and I'm going to go with the safety, Derwin James of the Chargers. This is a dude that burst onto the scene as a rookie, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, over 100 tackles, 3 interceptions. He can rush the passer. He's a guy that can play on the back end, and he's a flat-out dog and great tackler. If Derwin James is healthy, he's the top talent at the safety position. You got Keenan Allen burning everybody in training camp. Derwin James said, "Hey, Key, I need you." He's that kind of talent. Can't wait to watch him play this year.
I'm going to go with Joe Burrow, the second-year quarterback in Cincinnati. And here is a prediction for Booger to write down on the back of this morning's scorecard. If Joe Burrow is healthy enough to play Week 1, as they expect him to be, I predict that he will lead the league in passing yards in 2021. With that offense, adding Jamar Chase, getting a healthy Joe Mixon back, improvements hopefully on the offensive line, I think he's set up.
And as we know, Dan, last year, volume was certainly on his side. With a bad defense and a banged-up running game, he threw it a ton. All right, from Joe Burrow to another star who is now on a new team. Julio Jones plays for Tennessee Titans, but Falcons head coach Arthur Smith says both teams made out well in the trade. Do our guys see the Falcons as winners in this deal? Don't miss a take next year on NFL Live.